Hi everyone, welcome to Kats Creations live in our kitchen today, where we're going to be making a Jesus is the reason for the season wreath. So it's always good to have a lot of diverse items in your shop. So this one has been near and dear to my heart. So I can't wait for you guys to see what all I put together. Hang on one second, because just a second ago I found out I was in the wrong group. So I think I'm in the right group. So hi Debbie, thanks for joining me. And I think I'm in the right group. I think so. Hang on one second. Hi Nissy, how are you? Okay, we're in the right group. Just a second ago I was like, what's up with the page? Like I wasn't getting any people's comments and conversations. I'm like, am I even in the right group? So I want to welcome you. Steve's working right now. So this week I have, I think, designs planned, I want to say into next week. So rather than me just sit here and just kind of put this together on my own, I thought, you know what, let me just show you kind of like what I'm putting together, how I'm making this work, and then I can talk to you guys, answer any questions you might have, because people always ask, can you do a Q&A? And it's like, well, sometimes my lives are perfect opportunities for a Q&A. So I want to welcome you guys today. All the material, with the exception of the ribbon, I'm trying to think. So the ribbon, I'll break them down as we open them or show them to you, are all coming from Joann's, Hobby Lobby, and Craft Outlet. The Deco mesh that I'm using today, I'm totally in love with. This design just all flowed. So I'm super excited to put this together. So this is a dark blue metallic with silver foil through it. So I thought that really went well with the sign. So we're gonna be using that to create our base. We only needed one roll of it. So using the method of 20-inch ruffles for 18 pieces, you're gonna get a perfect, you wind up hopefully with a perfect roll of Deco mesh. You might get down to the last piece and it might be like 19 or 19 and a quarter, in which case it wasn't a perfect 30-foot roll, but that's okay. You can still work with that. The sign came from Craft Outlet, and I think that's all we're going to be doing. So we're going to do ruffle base, we'll add our sign, we'll do a bow, we'll add the tails and half bows, and hopefully that will complete this design. I wanted to incorporate a lot of gold and a lot of metallic, so you're going to see that played out just because that was one of the gifts offered to Mary and Joseph the night the three kings came and visited Jesus. That was one of the three, the gold. So welcome everyone who is joining me so far. Thank you, Anna, for joining. You're new all the way from, I think it's Bayonne, New Jersey. So thanks for joining. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to do the 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. So I will be blending different, like we did a grapevine last night. We're going to be incorporating different wreath forms, different design techniques. We're going to bring back in the bike frame, and we're going to do a bike frame or the bike wheel for Christmas. So there'll be a lot planned out over, I want to say the next 6 weeks, because I pretty much stop all my Christmas designs at the end of November. So wiring this up, there are 6 sections to a Dollar Tree wreath frame. Each of these is wired exactly the same. So I've done 5. We're going to leave the last one for me to walk you guys through this. So you're going to take a Chanel stem pipe cleaner, and using the weld marker, each section is divided by welds with 4 rings on it. You're going to take the Chanel stem and put this right in between both of those welds, wiring together rings 1 and 2. And that helps create stability with your pipe cleaners. As you notice, they're not moving around, they're not sliding, they're not tipping over. And then we're going to use the center one and the weld mark to kind of use those points to try to come up with like a midway point, I guess, just so that they're kind of spaced out relatively the same. And then we're going to do it again on this side. This gives you, in each section, you get one for the top or the inner frame, and then you get 2 in each section for the outside, which gives you 6 total inside, 12 total on the outside, grand total 18. So do you guys have any questions at all about this? So knowing that we're doing some unexpected lives, if you want to make sure that you're notified when we go live, make sure you click the like and follow button. You need to do both in order to generate what's called a Facebook notification. So if you do that, you should receive notification as long as you're on your phone. If you're new, we like to welcome you and try to get you connected with maybe a fellow creative within the wreathing community or that's joining you live here tonight. So I'll always ask you where you're from. If you like this design and want to replicate it, once you get your materials together, maybe make a quick trip to Hobby Lobby and get the ribbons, go ahead and click that share button. It's easier to find it on your page probably than it is to try to dig through it and find it online. YouTube subscribers, this is a live from Tuesday, October 13th. So if you're catching this on YouTube, it's from earlier today. If you want to catch any of these on an actual live, go over to my Facebook page, which is KatsCreations777 on Facebook. Like and follow me there, and then you can be notified when we go live. If you don't have a Facebook account, click the subscribe button, the little bell in the upper right hand corner, and then you'll be notified whenever we upload a new video. So all the information for this for YouTubers will be in the description box below this video, and I think I took care of all my housekeeping items. So hello Frida, thank you for joining us from Jonesboro, Georgia. Gail, since you're on, can you do me a favor? Can you be the person that answers a large majority of the questions if they're addressed to the general group? Gail's my administrator for my private group, as well as myself and Steve. So thank you for joining. And then if we need questions answered, like Gail's so good at researching that I'm like, hey, if we can't get this sign, Craft Outlet is sold out, Gail will probably give us some alternatives of where else we can get it. So we're all set. We're all ready to go. So we are taking our 10-inch Deco mesh, cut to 20-inch pieces, and we're going to just do the simple ruffle method. It is the easiest method to do if you're new to wreath making, new to Deco mesh wreath making, because all you're going to do is just kind of grab hold of your Deco mesh, keep your fingers in the middle, and just pull that Deco mesh towards you. The only reason I'm using the scissors is because I am rolling counter the way that it wants to roll naturally as it's rolled on the roll. Finished edges are going to go to the inside and the outside, so the cut edges are going to be facing inside. And I usually start with an inside one. And what I'll do is I just start placing my Deco mesh pieces as I come to the next pipe cleaner until I'm all the way finished. So, hi Susie, hi Linda, hi Teresa, hi Shelly. See what happens if you don't put your scissors down? Then you really have to kind of make sure you're not getting that curl going up and underneath. So placing scissors, another heavy object on top, kind of helps keep that from happening. It gets kind of frustrating when it does. So I'm just going to work around the outside. And matter of fact, while I'm doing this, you guys have seen me start to do this in the past, most recently, is I'm going to be removing my interior 6 right away, just because I know between the sign and the bow, we're not going to have any use of the interior ones from this point on. So, hi Sandra, thanks for joining us from Virginia. This is also challenging my ability to multitask a little bit more. So for me, without wanting to wear glasses on a live, having my tablet handy is kind of easy to use to do my lives, so I can see what you guys are saying. So I'm super excited to see how this will come out. Hi, Barbara. I was kind of apprehensive about using so much navy with the fact that our sign is navy. I didn't really want it to blend in too much, but then I started looking at the Deco mesh, and the Deco mesh has a lot of sparkle and shine to it, whereas the sign is more flat, if you get my meaning. It's not shiny, it's not clear coated or anything like that. It doesn't have a shine to it. So I think it's going to serve the purpose I meant for it to do by picking the navy. Plus I wanted it to look kind of rich looking. And I had a couple rolls of this left over. Usually I do this sometimes with my patriotic or navy Air Force wreaths, picking the dark navy with metallic in it. I hope so, Karen. Sometimes, like I said, you just kind of sit with the sign and you're not sure where to go, what direction. Should I go white and blue? Should I go gold? Should I put down a gold mesh base with maybe some pops of blue? So I'm hoping. Like, even Steve came through and he's like, that's gonna look really good. So we're hopeful. Hi, Bridget. Thanks for joining us from North Carolina. It's just me right now, because I try really hard not to take Steve away from his work. He's supposed to be working from home. So on the rare occasion that I can get him to go early, we can, I get his assistance from time to time. And he was like, can you just wait till later? I'm like, no, I'll just go. I'll go early. It'll just be me. I can figure it out. I can make it work. Yeah, Barbara, these are cut at 20. And the only reason I do this when I'm doing a ruffle method is if I'm using a brand new roll, cutting these to 20-inch ruffles will mean that I use up the entire roll with no leftovers. And I'm all about that. I don't have time to be storing 1/4-inch rolls of leftover Deco mesh because I don't want to throw away, a little bit of usable Deco mesh. I'm like, maybe this will come in handy if I just need, 1 or 2 pieces. That never happens, honestly. And in the rare occasion it does, it's generally going to be with a Deco mesh I use quite a bit. But with this blue metallic, no. Let's hope so, Susie. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. That's why I was like, should I go live? I'm like, well, I'm going to sit here and build it anyway. I can just put the camera on and just start going to town. Trying to give you guys some more inspiration. These signs are great too because the price point on these are fairly low. And I liked the design on this one. I like it to just be really simple. I like the fact that it's got an easy to read script on it. I don't know why I just cut that one off. Hold on please. Let me just rerun a pipe cleaner through here. I'm so used to getting into the habit of cutting off the ones in the middle that I kind of forgot, hey, don't cut the one off on the end. But I'm glad I caught that. So this is how you solve that problem when you accidentally cut your pipe cleaner off and you didn't mean to. I'm sure none of you have done that before. Accidentally cut something you weren't meaning to cut. I think this should create a good base for this. fairly thick, so I don't need to like overdo it on the thickness. It's a really good quality Deco mesh. Now I'll cut the next one off. What do you guys think of the black door behind me? We have evolved our props, meaning it kind of looks like the door she had before, but she just painted it black. It actually is a new door, and I would have done it on the old door, but I damaged my old door and I put a hole in the back of it. It didn't come all the way through the other side, which means that the white side is perfect, but the back side where I was going to paint it black, I couldn't do that anymore. And white's pretty generic. For most of the designs that you would do on a live, you'd want to have a neutral door. So this one, when I get ready to put it up on the door, we'll flip it so that we have the white showing, so it'll stand out a little bit more. Do you see the ribbons already, Vivian? It was funny because I have all my Christmas ribbon out on my seasonal rack. Thought I did. And then I was like, wow, I really don't have any really nice blue and gold to go with the 2.5 inch ribbon that I picked out. And then I have a tub or two filled with what I call, it could be used, it's non-seasonal, but it could be used throughout the year depending upon what the colors are. And then I found all this navy and gold, and I was like, wow, okay, we found all our ribbon. No need to run to Hobby Lobby. Where did you get your big self-healing mat from? Bridget asked, because she needs to buy another one because hers broke in half. Wow. Walmart is where I've gotten it. So the first one I had, I came to the understanding that if you're using a glue skillet, do not put a glue skillet directly on your cutting mat. Because the high temperatures in which we keep our glue at when we're using it, I want to say it's got to be, I don't know, the high 350 to 400 degrees or something like that, just to keep it. It doesn't have like a temperature on my glue skillet, but it's at a melting point for glue. The first time I took it on and placed it on my cutting mat, and then it warped my cutting mat. But for the life of me, I did not make the connection that it was caused from my glue skillet until I bought a new one and did the exact same thing, put my glue skillet on it. I thought one of my kids had like spilled something on it, and then it got water on it and warped the mat. So I was thinking, they probably just don't want to tell me that they did it. I'll get another one. And then I discovered it was the hot glue skillet sitting on top of my cutting mat, because this one now has a little wave in it. So make sure if you have a glue skillet, don't place it on the cutting mat. Just use your cutting mat for that. The black door is so pretty. I still want an entire front porch. I think Damon has it in his lives. I would love that, because then if I wanted to do like the garland and all that, you kind of have like the whole stage set. So if you were doing a live on how to decorate your door frame around your front door, or how to make your porch more inviting for the holidays, that would be a great set to have. I wonder if I can get Steve to build me the whole front end of a porch. He'd probably just tell me just use our porch outside, which isn't that inviting. Hi, Mary from San Diego. Hi, Margaret from Teresa. Oh, great. Joanne says that she has the same sign, so she's hoping that this will help give her some ideas. I love the fact that most of the ribbon came from local sourced places like Hobby Lobby and Joann's. Although, I don't know about you guys, our Joann's does not have their Christmas ribbon out just yet. So I'm not seeing if this is like kind of how Hobby Lobby is, where they'll bring out whatever didn't sell last year and restock their shelves this year. So Peggy says Deco Exchange just got in two-sided mats and they have 25% off, $125 or more, and free shipping. That's awesome. But sometimes you're like me, we need it now. I want to say Walmart had it for like under $25. And this one is a 24 by 36 cutting mat. Here's the real kicker. I went to Amazon before I got this one and just thought, well, I'll just order it off of Amazon. Amazon will deliver it. I ordered a 24 by 36 inch cutting mat, and what Amazon sent me was, and I kid you not, a 23 by 35 inch cutting mat. The last inch this way and that way, width and height, or width and length, was missing. So I'm like, this is not a true 24 by 36 inch cutting mat. Just kind of crazy. No blue at Michael's. Okay, Joann's here in San Diego doesn't have the ribbon out either. Okay, cool. So I'm not the only one. Our Joann's is pretty pathetic. What they did have available, I was disappointed with their fall ribbon this year. Disappointed with their fall deco mesh this year. It makes me wonder, are they gonna pull out some decent Christmas? You guys know, if I make it there or I hear about it, I will let you know. Joanne says that they have their Christmas ribbon out, but it does look a lot like last year. Well, that's good, because I loved all of last year's ribbon from Joann's. What you want to do, Joanne, is wait for them to do one of their crazy 70% off sales, and then go in and buy all the colors you want, because then that's when you get a really great deal. And that's kind of what I did. And you'll see when I pull the ribbon up, is they're all in that same color palette. And I just pulled ones from colors that I would never have matched in the past, because they're just too like onesie twosie. Okay, there we go. So here is, let me do it this way so you guys can see. Here is our mesh base, what it looks like. Wendy, this is cut to 20-inch pieces, so you'll need 18 of them, and that will help you go through an entire roll of deco mesh and not have any leftovers. So now we're going to work on the bow. So I'm going to take this and set this to the side, and I'm going to grab my bow dabber, and these are the ribbons. So Hobby Lobby, 2.5 inch. This is navy blue with gold kind of netting on either side. Then we're gonna do this craft outlet, which makes perfect sense. It says Silent Night, Holy Night. So I'm gonna show you how to keep your words in the right direction so you don't have to cut and splice your ribbon. We're going to be using this navy with gold, and this came from Joann's last year. We're also going to be using, I don't know what you would call this. It reminds me of like upholstered fabric. So you've got these little blue dots on top of the gold, and this is a sheer ribbon. It's not really thick. Hobby Lobby, it's in the box QQ. If you guys don't know what I mean by boxes, if you look at the box that these ribbons will come in, the QQ box will hold all the ribbon that matches or that coordinates with each other. So if you're going in to just look for these ribbons, just go right to any box on the shelf that has QQ on it, and you should find the navy and gold. Also, we're going to be using this navy and gold. This came from Joann's last year. And then, here we go again, QQ. We have the gold with, this is like a blue net on it. And I think I'm liking the way that this is situating with these colors. I'm trying to break up some of the blue with the gold. So laying them out this way before you start assembling your bow helps you from cutting into ribbon and go, you know what, I don't like how those colors look next to each other. So you could sit here, you know, and just mix and match. Like these ones to me just don't look good together. So I'm gonna be breaking these up so I know where I'm gonna lead off. And we could actually, we could do it this way too. Let's see how that looks. Because I try to keep a really nice patterned ribbon. I don't like that. Maybe like this. Let me look. Do those look better? That looks a lot better. Although, I still had this one. No, it's separated here. I think that's how it goes. We'll leave it like that. So we're gonna start with the 2.5 inch first. This is just my formula for what works on a bow that I'm comfortable with. If you guys have watched me any long length of time, yes, I kind of keep this as standard formula just because I know using 6 different ribbons, 2, 2.5, 4, 1.5 inch, I'm going to get the size and fullness of a bow that I need to work on the design that I have in place. Usually with a 6 by 12 inch sign, sometimes, what is it, 6 by 10 or like 8 inch round, this works. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we are going to take our 2.5 inch ribbon and we're gonna dovetail. Now, as you can tell, this one just kind of does whatever it wants. This inside material is very sheer. It doesn't have an awful lot of thickness to it, so it likes to just wobble. So the only strength it has is from that detail on the outside. So a dovetail is going to be taking those wired edges, bringing them together, and then you're going to go from the folded edge right to the point, just like this. And I'm going to do 10.5 inch tails. Let me zoom you guys in so you can see. Hang on just 1 second. Okay. So 10 inches. And using the bow dabra, it's all going to be about twist. So you start with the right side. You're going to put it into your bow dabra so you have wrong side on the current side you're working on. And we're going to flip it, and I need 5.5 inch loops. So I just kind of eyeball about what I think 5.5 inch looks like, but then I'll bring my bow dabra back to center and then just kind of pull everything. Like I keep it on the 10 because it's easier for me to look down and see 5.5 inches. Did I make that? And so this on this one is a yes. And then we'll flip it over and do 5.5 inch on the other side. Hi, Georgia. Hi, Sandra. So let's make sure that this is still, nope, that one's pretty much more like a 5. There we go, 5.5 inch. And then we'll stretch this out and cut this at 10. And then we'll dovetail the other side. Just like that. Okay. Now, here's where we have ribbon that has writing on it. So what we want to do is make sure the writing all stays in the same direction. Generally, if you put it in a bow dabra and work with it the way you do normal ribbon, you're going to get half of it that is right side, the other side is upside down. So we need to make sure that they're both right side up. So to do that, we're gonna do our dovetail first. And go ahead and put that in there. And then on this, I'm just gonna set this aside because we're gonna work with it outside of the bow dabra. You can't use your bow dabra or easy bow maker in order to make that work. You have to kind of do it outside, but it's really super simple to do. So knowing that our tail length has to be 9.5 inches, I just figure out where 9.5 is, and then I'm pinching it. I'm not flipping it. Here's the reason. If I put this in the bow dabra now, flipped it, and made my loop, this is what I'm saying, is you get this going this direction, and now it's already upside down. So flipping is not what we need to do. So pinching, and then we're gonna measure, oops, should have been here. Here was my 9. And then I know that this needs to be a 10-inch loop. So, or not a 10-inch loop, sorry, 5-inch loop. So I'm gonna measure this out to 10. And then that'll ensure that I have a 5-inch loop. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to meet in the middle. I'm not going to twist. I'm not gonna do anything else. And then this way, if you notice, my writing and my loop are now the same. I just need to verify that yes, I'm still at 5 inches. And then we're gonna do the same thing. So from where I'm pinched out to here, here's my 5 inches. I've pinched that up. And now I'm just gonna bring this to meet in the middle, right here. I'm just gonna hold that because now my loop is still the same. And now when I pull this one out and measure it at 9.5 inches, it's gonna be right where my star is. There we go. I'll do the dovetail in a second. Now you can see that we've got the writing is all going in the exact same direction. And then from here, I can take my bow dabra and just go ahead and place that in my bow dabra so it holds it. And then I can go ahead and do the dovetail on my end that I need to. And now everything is going in the right orientation. Did you guys have any questions about that? I see Peggy said that Joanne says Christmas ribbon online for half off. You know what I'm going to be doing when I finish is I'm going to be going to look to see what their new Christmas ribbon looks like for this year. Thank you for that tip. Hi, Kim. Thanks for joining us from Texas. Hi, Patricia. Okay. So now we are going to grab that really pretty one that I still haven't figured out what I would call this. We'll just set this over here. This is that sheer that's kind of got, it's all done diagonally, but they put a dot of blue everywhere the lines intersect. And I'm going to do this at 9 inches for my tail. And it's going to have a 5.5 inch, not 5.5, 4.5 inch loop. Why does that seem so big? Nope, 9. It just felt like 11 inches. So we'll measure and see if we got this at 4.5. Nope, that's 5. There's 4.5. And you can see that this is really sheer, which is nice because where I plan on using it, I want to add the pop of gold, but I don't want to impact the wording of the ribbon below it. So this works out perfectly. Hi, Wendy. Okay, brocade. That might be the word for it. I was like, it looks like a upholstered fabric, like you would find like a quilted pattern on a headboard or something like that. That might be the term. Barbara, it says you made it. Looks so easy, but I tried it today and I screwed it up. What do you mean? The orientation of trying to keep the wording in the right order? Doing the bow. It takes a couple times. I think the first couple times I did it, I was all over the place. It was pretty crazy. It didn't look like it was supposed to. So this ribbon here came from Joann's. It's super pretty because it's kind of got an iridescent sheen. So this is going to be 8.5 inches. It's got the gold on the tip. And then it's going to be a 4.5 inch loop. Just like so. 4.5. So knowing that the one below it is 4.5, I don't even need to measure. I can just pull. And then I do need to do this though to get my 8. I'm trying to see. Hi Della, thanks for joining. Okay. This one is willing to just unravel at a moment's whim. This needs to be contained, but it's super thick. Okay, so we've got 2 more to go. So remember the blue came from Joann's, and then this also came from Joann's last year. This navy with gold. So my color palette is white, navy blue, gold, and silver. And we're gonna do this at 8 inches with a 4.5 inch or 4-inch loop. So we need to keep measuring my loops. Right at 4. Trying to keep them stuck. Just makes it easier to unstuck them. And let's make sure that one's 4 on this side. Okay, that one's 4.5. A little bit longer. And then we need this at 8. And then our final one, which will be the gold with the blue netting on the inside. I like the fact this particular bow has lots of textures to it. It has some shears. It has some canvas. Definitely a lot of metallic. And this last one's going to be 7.5 inches with a 3.5 inch loop. There we go. And then we will fluff and go ahead and put that on our wreath. Because we've already taken the extra step of cutting off the interior of all of our pipe cleaners, so we should be pretty good. Barbara, have you tried to make a pancake wreath? They're not that hard to do. I have not made one, and I know people like making them because number one, they fit between a storm door and kind of give you the look of a ruffle, but without the volume. I just like volume in my wreaths. That's probably why, honestly, I have not done one. Let me look for. I know I had it. Here they are. I was like, where are my extra blue pipe cleaners? I know I brought a bunch out. Okay. So this is all stacked nicely. We're gonna take our blue pipe cleaner. You could use zip ties. You could use floral wire. I just prefer using a chenille stemmer pipe cleaner just because as I've gotten older, I don't have the physical strength in my hands that I used to. So I'm kind of challenged there. So let us, I use an 18 by 24 inch cutting board. This is 3/4 of an inch thick, so I don't like them too high. I just like to be, I would love to be able to do it on my cutting mat, but the problem is how do you secure the bow to the cutting mat so your ribbons don't slide all over the place while you're fluffing it? Well, here's my answer. Do a cutting board, and matter of fact, a cheap alternative is if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, if you go into their wood section, they have wood that's already pre-cut. And you can get a 24 by 24 by 1 inch thick piece of wood, and then you're all set. You've got your fluff board. I can't really call it a box because it's more of a board. And then I just added a cup hook to the center to hold it as long as I have a zip tie, a pipe cleaner, or my floral wire. I can go ahead and just attach it. I also have added a nail that when I use the Pro Bow method and I have the floral wire, I can go ahead and use that as well. So I'm just going to secure this on, oops. Man, I did this one really tight. There we go. I guess it's better to do that. Make it tight. All right, that's all done. We'll get that out of the way so we don't have to see that. Okay, so to fluff. Takes lots of practice, number one. So if your first bow doesn't look the way you're hoping, just practice more. So the easy way to fluff it is I'm moving my pipe cleaners to the middle. You're gonna take a tail to one side and a loop to the other. Remember that I told you this is like floppy ribbon. It doesn't have an awful lot of strength to that middle fabric. I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm just separating the material. Then you go over to the other side and you're gonna do it in the opposite direction, meaning I pull my tail out and then my loop. And then you go back to the side you were working on. So we had our loop here, so we're gonna go loop this side and tail this side. Go back to the other side. We are going to do, here's our tail, and here's my loop. And basically what you're getting, once they stop flip-flopping around, is you have your tails together, but separated. You have two loops on both sides. So everything should be like a little crisscross on either side. And then you just keep working it down this exact same way. So we're coming from here, here, you need to go over here. Go back to the other side. So I have loop and tail, tail. As soon as I can get my finger in the loop, because then I'm trying to fluff at the same time, or open the loops. Then we're back here, so we're gonna follow this Silent Night ribbon. So loop, and then tail. Go back to the other side, and we have tail and loop. Remember, we're not fluffing yet, we're just separating. Back to this one. So here and here, to the other side, opposites. And then the top one, here and here, and then here and here. I can totally tell this is not a 3.5 inch loop. So I can make some adjustments in how you pull your loops. So pulling this up and then pulling this out allows me the benefit of being able to do that. And then you just start maneuvering things around and putting tails or loops wherever you want them to go. And the only thing you have to be conscious of in this case is remember how we were trying really hard to keep our loops to where the words stayed in the right orientation? It also means that when you're ready to place the bow, you have to look at it this way, because here's how the word is read, here's how it is here. So you only have one side for how it's placed, which means that if your wreath is going this way, your bow has to be situated this way. So you got to be careful about that when you go to place it on top of your wreath, that your wording is straight. So knowing that, and of course I have all these tails down here where I really didn't want them. I'm gonna try to place it, because this side works so much better, but I'll be able to fluff and move stuff around. I'm gonna try to put it to where this part is where my sign is, and I'll just move these around the bottom tails. So we'll move this to the side. We'll go back to the large view, and I look just for a flat spot in my wreath, and I think I'm going to do it right about here and try to get this situated. Let me find my pipe cleaners. And I'm going right over where I had an interior, what do you call it? An interior part to the mesh where I cut it off. And so now I'm attaching it to the frame, and you don't want to pull too hard. You kind of want this floating on the top, because I'm just moving my ribbons around, trying to get the tails over to the other side so they're not hanging down in the front. Rather have them hang out the back, so that the wording matches. So we're gonna continue to pull these around. I'm fine with the loops being in the front, but I really want the tails to the side. So you can see I'm just kind of readjusting placement, moving loops, and moving some tails to the side, just like this. There we go. And I'm okay with that being there, okay with this being here. So as you can see, I've had to make some adjustments. Normally you don't have to do that when you're using the other method of making a bow. So now we're going to add our sign. Barbara, the sign came from Craft Outlet. So I'm just going to snip off my ties where the burlap string was attached. And we will use our pipe cleaners. And I'm going to use a staple gun to secure this. Let me do it this way so that's off the ground. So, easy way to do this, instead of worrying about glue or using the adhesive cable ties, this way guarantees that they don't fall off. So, as long as your sign is quarter inch thick, you can use 1/4 inch staples in your staple gun. So I just usually kind of twist them so they don't slide out from underneath the staples. We're going to do this one here. I just do it as an extra precaution because I've had it sometimes where I don't push my staple all the way to the sign, and it kind of gives it a little bit of a gap. And if I pulled on it, it would pull the pipe cleaner right out from underneath my sign. So now we're going to take this and add this to our wreath. I love these colors together. I think this color combination works out perfectly. And I'm just going to go down. Kind of want to save that ruffle. So I'm going to work through Another piece of Deco mesh to put it where I want it. Same thing, don't pull your sign all the way down to the frame, and then just lightly twist it until you're 100% certain your bow or your sign is where you need it to be. So I kind of want it just a touch right underneath my bow, but not impacting the sign at all. And so I'm just moving some mesh around to make it a little easier to attach. There we go. And you. Okay. Let me adjust this. So that I'm happy where all the bows are winding up. Pull this back just a touch. And I'm sure I'll still be doing this a couple times, but so far this is where we're at. I know it kind of looks a little funky because we just have gold and then all this blue, but that's where we're basing it. Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to go around the outside and we're just going to add some more pops to break up all this blue. So we're doing our tails in that Silent Night, Holy Night ribbon, and then back to the 2.5 inch. And I'm going to alternate them as we go around just the outside 12, making sure, of course, that this is going in the right direction. And these are cut to 13-inch lengths. So this will be my only challenge ribbon because it's like a polyester. So it really doesn't want to stay where I want it to go. So I will do it here. So I'm just gonna skip. And then what I do is I pull the tails to the outside so that it kind of, it draws your eyes to the outside. And then we'll do these ones. Do you guys like the color so far with the gold? It's just the touch of white that's just the wording on both the signs and on the ribbon, the one ribbon. There we go. I keep hearing that clatter. It's the pipe cleaners under the bottom because I haven't cut them off yet. Okay. So I know a lot of you are asking about this, the item number for the mesh. I don't know if they still make this mesh, but all you have to do is just go in and type in the craft outlet or the Wreath shop window, 10-inch blue with silver metallic Deco mesh. I've just had it for a while. If you're in the private group, then you'll automatically get the materials list with everything listed. And it's sad because even though stuff might be available this year, if it's out of stock for the season, they're not going to be getting any more back in stock. Like when we did the grapevine behind us, I went back to order more of the greenery and it's all sold out. The item numbers don't come up. So I was like, what do you mean the item number doesn't come up? I'm pulling it right off of the tag. I pulled up the actual order and it says item not found. So I was like, wow, I guess that means it's out for the season. Okay.
gold. I think we needed to introduce some of the gold into here. Otherwise it would have just been way too much navy. And I like doing it on a darker base instead of like, it probably would have really popped up against like a white metallic or a white iridescent. But then I think you'd be struggling to try to fill the white with navy because it would just be too much white. So this reminds me of like the nighttime sky with the stars was the idea I was going through. Well, thank you, Carol. Okay. Trying to find my pipe cleaner. See one, there's the other one. It's way under the bow. So when you're working with your design and you're getting into developing a routine and you're adding your Deco mesh, always pull your pipe cleaners to the outside. It just makes them so much easier to find when you're going through and adding your details later. Trying not to miss any. Trying not to skip. Thank you, Gail, for answering all the questions. And any of you, matter of fact, that have been sitting here watching from the get-go, if you guys know the answer to any of the questions, feel free to go ahead and help fellow viewers out. I know it's a struggle sometimes when you're like, I just need to know how long they were cut, or how many pieces, or where the sign came from. See what I'm saying? How this ribbon just seems to have a will of its own. It just wants to fold and stay folded. Even trying to cut them ahead of time to have all the materials prepped, it's like it just did not want to lay the way I wanted it to lay. There we go. Spinning it around. Okay, 2 more. Again, always making sure the wording is going in the correct manner. I don't want it upside down. Okay, 2 more. And then this design will be generally pretty well complete once we add our half bows to the design. There's some other elements you can come in here and add. I wasn't sure I wanted to do it. I may go back in later if I want and add some navy and gold. Like I have small little miniature ornaments, the little round balls, to maybe just pop a few in here, maybe to break this up. And then again, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just like it the way it is. Sometimes less is more. Okay. I think, I have to look. I was like, I think I have a little miniature nativity thing. I could have put that there, but I think I just want to keep it. Now we're gonna go ahead and come in with 17-inch pieces. So we're going to use these, which is going to be the sheer. Remember, it's super sheer, so it's going to go over the Silent Night ribbon. And then we're going to add this over that gold with the navy. These are cut to 17-inch pieces. So we're just going to bring the ends together. They've all been dovetailed already. This wants to stick. And then you're going to bring it up to where you start to pinch, and it's just 2 inches. And then these, like I said, are going down on top of all of our Silent Nights. And then we're gonna go ahead and twist our pipe cleaners all the way off. As I'm doing that, it just gets into the habit of finishing. And then you're gonna take the leftover piece of your pipe cleaner and just kind of fold it back behind the loop. And then you can go ahead and open up your loops, and then it becomes what I call a half bow, because a full bow would have 2 loops. So I'm going to go around and just start adding these all the way around. Lori, will you be getting any more candles in your Etsy shop? I am going to try. I have to reach out to them directly before I just place my order and just ask if they can. And if so, how many they have and will they send them? They were actually really quick this time to get them in. I want to say it took about 4 weeks for them to do the first shipment I got in. So this way, talking to a live person gives me options. If I call them and they say, well, we only have, 6 of those left, then I can say, okay, can we also have 6 of this other color? So I will attempt to get that in. I will put that on my to-do list for tomorrow. I know we're going to ship the ones that sold yesterday out first thing tomorrow morning. It was kind of late yesterday to get them packaged and ready to go for the delivery, because Steve's making the PVC attachments to go with the candles. So he's like, I have the PVC pipe, but I don't have the couplers. And then of course he's working right now, so I need those done so I can package the orders and get them out in the morning. You need to bring your camera closer. Okay, hang on a sec, Susie. It's just me today. So, give me 1 minute. Oops. And I'll bring that just a touch closer so you guys can see those as I'm going around and adding them. Thank you guys for letting me know, because I don't know what you guys want until you say, hey, bring the camera closer. Can you zoom in on what you're doing? Not a problem. And so, can you guys still see the other half bow? I don't think so. I will spin this here in a second and then you will. And then I'll kind of show you what I'm doing. And I'll do it with the other one on the other side, where the camera currently is residing. Okay. Fighting with a piece of Deco mesh that does not want to lay where I want it to be, because it's pushing my ribbon tails up. Okay, so I'm going to do this one right here. So, because we're going to do sheer, so half bow, you got to get it all prepped. And then what you're going to do is you're going to not open the pipe cleaner, just kind of making sure that you guys can see. It's going to go right inside on top of the pipe cleaner. You're going to go ahead and twist it. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to cut it off right where I finished twisting. I'm going to take this piece. This is the end of my pipe cleaner. I'm going to fold it back behind this so we don't see it. And then you're going to open these up and then open up your loops. And that's what you call a half bow. I needed to do that one before I forget. Jennifer, the name of my shop on Etsy is KatsCreationsNMore. It's so crazy now, because when I first opened my Etsy shop 3 years ago, there was Kats Creations. The name was already taken. And so I just, you have to pick an alternative name. So I just went 777. And now when you look up Etsy and you type in Kats Creations, you find regular Kats Creations, and then every number combination in the world you could possibly imagine. So I need to eventually just change my shop name to match my website name, and then we'll be okay. And then it'll all match. Should do that right now. so we don't have that confusion. But I have so many people who remember it now as KatsCreations777. I don't want them to think I closed my shop. I'll have to do some big, huge announcement saying, hey, I changed my shop name. Okay. So I've got a few more of these to finish, but you can kind of see the way that it's setting itself up. Oh, Jennifer, yeah. You know what's funny is I didn't intend on the wreath behind me to feature a candle in it. I was just playing with the design, and the candles came in yesterday, so I pulled them out, and I had it all laid out on top of the grapevine to kind of give me an idea. Do I need to go pull more greenery? Do I need to go grab some more berries? And then I grabbed a candle, and I said to Steve, I'm like, wouldn't this just look perfect tucked into the center of this grapevine if I could get it to stay? Because you know that we've set that up to work on the wire wreath frame. And I was like, there's no way to hide the holder because it's a grapevine. Can't put a big 1/2-inch piece of PVC and wedge it into a grapevine. Famous last words ever. And he's like, give me a second, let me see what I can figure out. And sure enough, he did it. And that's going to be the only one, because like I said, all the greenery is sold out now. You can't get it. It's done for the season, which is sad because it's only October. So I loved using the greenery on that. Because I went back to order more, and I started thinking maybe I should just do it as a kit. And then of course the greenery is all sold out. Can't do that. Okay. Still fluffing my bow now that I've messed up the underside as I go around. Just 2 more and then we're finished. Well, like I said, I might go in and add some little borders. Barbara, you said you ordered the greenery today from Sims? Sims is out of this glittered cedar. So it's the glittered cedar, the really long wispy branches they're out of. Because I was like, well, maybe I'll just look for something similar. So did you order the glittered cedar or did you just order the frosted pine? Makes me want to just call them and ask, hey, is it true you really don't have any more of these? Like maybe just 2? All I need is 2. Because Steve's like, I really want that wreath for our front door. I'm like, well, I'll make another one. Can't make another. You ordered both? Did you do that today, Barbara? Because I was just going to order the regular cedar and then just spray it. Okay. Let me fan all that pretty ribbon now. Right, Jennifer, wouldn't that make it look so good on double doors? That's an option. I just got to see if I can find it. I might go swing over to Michael's later and see what they have for their greenery, because I love Michael's greenery. Okay. Okay, I'm going to bring my sign down just a little bit. Just because I have so much blue at the bottom that I just want to move it down just a touch. Just like one section on my wreath form to just fill up the blue at the bottom. Pulling, pulling, pulling. There we go. And I'll fix my bow. And, okay, let me move this one down just a smidge. Okay. There we go. And just move it over one. Sometimes all you need to do is just move it over one little section. Sign came from Craft Outlet, Debbie, or Denise. I'm gonna go look, Barbara. Because I still have stuff sitting in my cart. I just wanted a fairly big order. So let us feather the edges of the sign. And by that, I mean you grab your deco mesh that's just a touch underneath. You kind of pull that back. Let's pull our bow back down. And fix this. There we go. It's right here. And let me grab this one. Everything is rolled up underneath. That looks a little bit better. Okay. Oops. Okay. So let me zoom out. Hang on a second. There we go. Okay. So look, let me show you what happened here. So this is what's so nice about this, is you can just turn it and then you have the candle. That's such a welcoming presence. So it's kind of cool because it's got a built-in timer, but I need to flip this around. Un momento. And there we go. That one needs back pretty far. There we go. There we go. Okay. Had to make sure it didn't fall again. Me and my falls and my wreath. Wow, that seems pretty far away. Have to get all the glitter off. There we go. So I will make some adjustments because we were touching, smashing, get everything together. Okay. Sometimes with sign placement, you smash things you don't intentionally mean to do. So you just gotta come all the way back out and refluff. Okay, you need to come this way. There's just Glitter City. Okay. There we go. Okay. Just trying to make sure I have it hung correctly. Okay, so what do you guys think? Let me zoom in so you can see that. Okay, so Barbara, the item numbers you're giving me, one of those was correct. The other one, the CS4728, was wrong. I know because it was like 1978 for the glittered cedar, but I will double check that. I think that one's probably the, I don't know. I'll have to look. Let's see what you found up. Okay. Let me what questions do you guys have that I can answer for you. Tomorrow, what am I making tomorrow? I think we're making, and I always have to phrase this correctly, I'm gonna be making a wreath with Christmas elves in it. Even though I say, oh, I'm gonna make an elf wreath, everyone thinks the movie like Buddy the Elf, and I'm like, no, it's a wreath with elves in it. So that's what I'm gonna be working on tomorrow. And then I think Thursday, I'm going to do like a red, white, and green Christmas candy wreath with just those 3 colors in it. So look for those. I don't know when throughout the day, like it'll be anywhere from like 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. But make sure you are liking and following the page, and then that way you won't miss the notification when I go live. But thank you guys for joining me today. I appreciate you guys being here, and I will talk to you guys all tomorrow. Thanks everyone. Have a great night.